everyone, it's Carissa with the Boys and Girls Club Youth Center. I'm the Youth Services Program Coordinator, and today for our career fair interviews, I'm going to be interviewing Evita Basilio, and she is a registered dietitian. We will just get into the questions, and she will share all about her career with all of you. So first question, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, let's get right into it. I work as a registered dietitian in a acute care hospital in downtown Toronto. So I work with patients who have acute mental health concerns, as well as I work in outpatient clinics. So kidney stone clinic and a lipid clinic. Working as a dietitian, you can work in many areas. So not just in the hospital. I've had experience working in tech companies, agriculture, community centers. You can work in sports, food services, with corporations. So the field of dietetics is pretty large and there's many areas that you can go into. Right now I work clinical in a hospital, but I also work with a meal planning software company. So a bit of that health technology aspect where working in marketing and sales and app development.
Sweet, awesome. Why did you originally get into this career?
I love food, as you can tell by my shirt as well. So I love to eat. I love everything about food. And I think the way that nutrition and food impacts our bodies and our lifestyle, as well as diseases and how we cope with different circumstances in life is so important. I have a passion as well for food security and food sustainability. So that those aspects together brought me into the field of nutrition and dietetics.
Great. So what does the day-to-day look like for this career?
It can really depend on where you work within the field of dietetics. So, for example, at my job at the hospital, I would come in. So when I work in an inpatient setting, meaning that the patients are admitted to the hospital, so they can be staying there for days, weeks, months, and some even for years. So I would first look at a census, meaning like the patient names, how long they've been there, and their different cases. I look through charts, identify who needs to be seen, look at referrals from the physicians, and then work with my interdisciplinary healthcare team to provide nutrition care. So that could be accessing or changing their diet orders, maybe modified textures, working with a speech language pathology to assess patients swallowing and changing their textures accordingly, or even working with tube feed. So some patients may not be able to eat food, so we would have to feed them through a tube. So working to assess their feed requirements. And when I work with a meal planning software company, it's sort of like a typical business, more like. So we're organizing with the team early in the day and setting priorities for tasks that need to get done in projects.
Sweet. So what type of training or schooling did you need in order to work as a registered dietitian?
To work as a registered dietitian, it's a bit more specific of what sort of training you have to get done. So especially in Canada, each country is going to be different. But in Canada, you have to have an undergraduate degree from a university that is accredited by Dietitians of Canada and the different colleges to have a nutrition and dietetics program. So if you go through the website, Dietitians of Canada, you can find which schools are accredited and pick your school accordingly, which can depend on what your location or your interest. So some universities will specialize maybe more into clinical, some into community, some in food services. So picking your undergraduate degree accordingly. After a 4-year undergraduate degree, you have to complete a 1-year dietetic internship. So that is 1 year of work that you do that's also accredited through a university. And you would work in, again, different organizations as well as working in a hospital. There's another route you could do, and that's doing a master's to, in the end, become a registered dietitian. Once you complete all of your training and your degrees, or one degree, then you do a certified dietitian registration exam to be certified. And every couple of years because it is a registered profession, every couple of years you do need to get your registration reassessed. And so you either complete more exams or just more testing and prove that you've been working as an RD.
Sweet, that's awesome. I had no idea. So how does someone get a job in the field?
It again depends on where you want to work. It is a competitive field. it can depend on the area. So healthcare for a registered dietitian is quite competitive. There's not that many job postings, but I think you have to be creative. So because there's so many areas to work in, really important to look for job postings that you're interested in, but you can also create your own job posting. So in the past, I've definitely like reached out to companies and expressed my interest in working for them, and they've created jobs for me. So it's all about how, where you want to work and how determined you are, how motivated you are, and then being creative to either create posts to create your own job or to build a good network. So I think networking within the field of dietetics is really important. It's almost like every dietitian in Canada knows each other. So creating a strong network where people can vouch for you and help you get into the field or stay in the field or access areas that you want to work in is important.
Cool. So what are some challenges that are faced in this career?
Definitely a challenge is finding a job for a lot of dietitians. So every year the field produces new dietitians, but there's already like maybe a lot of roles have already been filled. So that's a big challenge, which I've heard from new graduates, is finding the job that maybe they thought they wanted to do. Another challenge could be the scope of the field. So because it is a registered profession, so constantly having to be accredited. So making sure you keep on top of getting your hours in so that you can apply to have your registration fulfilled, keeping on top of the exams, and for some dietitians, maybe even keeping up on the latest research and evidence to completely stay evidence-based and to stay up to date in their profession.
All right. So my last question is, do you have any advice or tips for youth who are interested in this career, and what would you tell somebody who is new to the field?
Of course. So my number one advice would be to like reach out to dietitians already in the field. So you can like social media is like exploding with like access to people in the profession. So if you look up in Dietitians of Canada, you can connect with dietitians. We are a profession of really excited people who want others to join our field. So you will definitely stumble upon RDs who are willing to help you figure out what program you want to go to or what area of dietetics you want to access. Reach out to schools that you're interested in. So whether it's in your like nearby to you, so go visit them or give them a call. They really are helpful in orienting you to the profession as well as what it takes to become a dietitian. Uh, so building that network right away. What was the other part of the question?
Um, what would you tell someone new to the career?
And new to the career, I would say like be determined and be who you are. I think that whatever field someone goes into, but especially dietetics, people try to fit a mold. And I think if you are as unique as you are, like that is what sets you apart. Right now, I'm actually just reviewing applicants for our internship program at the hospital. And what I find is who I gravitate towards are people who tell me more of their story, like show me more of who they are, because we don't want just a field of robots. We
Yeah,
want some unique people who want to do some cool things, be innovative, be creative, and build a good network.
yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is
Glad to be
great.
on.
Um, and if anybody has any questions, reach out and we can reach out to Evita.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carissa.